Welcome to the tutorial for Synaptic Paint. So we're going to get started here with text image. So I'm going to click on the text image button in the tools panel, and then I can open up the inference control panel here, and this has all of the settings that I need to control the model output. So I'm going to just paste a prompt that I've previously written, and then as I move the mouse around on the canvas, this box shows you where the generated image is going to be placed. So I'll just click somewhere near the center. At these settings with this number of steps, and by default it's going to generate 6 variants. It's going to take about 24 seconds to do that. So now we have the results back from the model. So down here, this is the candidate's UI, and by clicking on the different thumbnails, we can choose which of the variants we want to use. If you don't like any of the variants, you can press this cross to just get rid of all of them, and then you can re-roll. But if you keep the same seed, then the results are just going to be the same. So you gotta change that if you want a different result. So let's try that again. So maybe we'll go with this one. And so if you do want to keep the variant, then click the check mark, and it will place the variant into the project and get rid of the other variants. So and it's going to place it into this insert layer. So these layers, the project has 3 of them, and they work pretty much like Photoshop layers. You can do masking. Right now we have just these 3 fixed layers, but later on we'll add ways for people to add layers, move them around, and stuff like that. But the way the layers work right now is that this insert layer is where we kind of work on things that we want to add to the overall composition. So the results of text image, image to image, and in Paint are going to show up here, and you can also import other assets from other workflows or other programs or photos or whatever. So right now I have the move tool selected, and so what I can do is move this image around to where I want it in the composition. So to do that, I click once to pick up the image. And once I do that, then the image will follow my cursor around, and then I'll click a second time to drop it off where I want it. The other thing that we can do while in move mode is we can use the mouse scroll to resize this asset. So let's put it down like maybe closer to the bottom, so that there's more room for the for clouds. Okay, so once I'm happy with where I've put the inserted image, then I can click on flatten, and this will flatten just compresses all of the layers down into the base layer. So in the layers UI, you have this eye icon, which will turn a layer invisible. And so when I do that for the insert layer, this does nothing. So that tells me that the insert layer is empty right now. But for the base layer, if I toggle this, the image disappears. So that's where the image lives right now, in the base layer. So now we can do in Paint, and the way that in Paint works is in Paint and out Paint is the same thing. Basically, if there are any pixels that are transparent in the base layer, then it's going to fill those pixels with model generated output. And it's going to, and if the pixels are not transparent, then it's going to keep them the same. So again, you're going to have a bunch of variants, and you can pick which one you like the best. Sometimes there can be a little bit of a seam where the original image meets the new image, and so we're just looking for the image that minimizes that. So maybe this one. And the other thing that you can do is, as you are in painting, you can modify the prompt based on where you're going. So if we go into this area on the left here, maybe it's going to be more rocky. So let's say so let's try that. So that looks pretty decent. So we'll go with that one. And then again, like for example, if I want to generate more of the cloud, then I'll focus on that. So maybe that one. So let's say that we want like a dragon or something. So I can try the brush tool, and maybe it'll be a purple dragon. Maybe something like that. Actually, let's give the dragon wings. Something like that. And we can use image to image to try to make that happen. Let's try this. So these don't look too great because the strength is too low, and it's not adding any realism to the what we painted. So maybe turn up the strength. This person might not have painted any dragons. Okay, maybe turn down the strength a little bit. Okay, maybe this. maybe this. Let's try this one. Okay, so so we have the dragon, but it's creating these new seams. So what we want to do is just use masking to blend the image into the original. So we can go into the mask layer here, and it automatically sets the tool to erase. So in erase mode, it's the same as brush mode, except that your brush is going to work on the mask layer, and the color is always black. So black means erase the whatever is underneath. So we'll make this a little bit bigger, and we can also control the opacity of what we're doing. So let's actually start out at 100% because we're definitely going to want to erase at least this part, the seams, and then we'll back down as we go. So let's try something like this. And you can, so if you want to see what it looks like with the mask on, just go to the insert layer. If I turn off the base layer, you can see it's cropping off those the outside edges. And so if I turn down the opacity, even more, something like that, I can simulate a gradient by kind of just using a low opacity brush and going over it multiple times. I probably want an even lower opacity brush to make that gradient smoother. So let's check again. Yeah, so you can see the opacity brush is working, and it's kind of simulating a gradient here. I want to make it a little bit more opaque over here. So just go over it a few more times with the brush. And then let's see what it looks like blended in. So that looks pretty okay. Yeah, you could work on it a little bit more, but this looks fine. So we'll go ahead and accept that by flattening the image. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. If you have any questions or if you find a bug or whatever, there is a Discord channel, Discord server that you can join to exchange tips with people and also talk to the developers. There is also a subreddit where you can share your creations, and you can follow me on Twitter to stay up to date with the latest developments.